It's the Weird Faith Podcast. What's up, everybody?
All right.
We are back with episode 2 of season 2. And if you remember how our live stream event ended last week, which was awesome.
Yeah.
You guys were incredible. Josh ended on a really sour note with us. He shot us with silly string.
Yep.
And what you all may not know is that Phil and I worked tirelessly that entire day to get this room ready. We tried to make it look nicer, more presentable.
Yep.
And he had to have lunch with somebody, so he wasn't around. And then he comes in and ruins our set with silly string. So we fired him. He's not here, so we've been teasing a special guest to replace him. This is their tryout. Maybe this will be permanent. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe give him a second chance. I don't know.
We'll see.
He may not deserve it. I don't know. But anyways, so we put up some teasers out there. Some of you have been guessing. Has anyone gotten it right? No one's gotten it right. So let's have a little bit of a drum roll, and then we'll see who our special guest. 3, 2, 1.
It's Josh.
It is Josh.
All right.
Oh, that's a creepy mask. All right, so let's see who you are really.
What mask?
It's Tori.
Victoria Proctor Wayman.
They're the
My
one
wife.
and only. Everyone's favorite Wayman.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're
People
like
like Noah and Chloe.
I'm putting you third, and you have 2 kids, and they can
you
determine.
figure out which is the...
They can fight it out amongst themselves.
No, we're excited to have Tori with us. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. But before we jump into it, again, we want to say thank you for joining us 2 weeks ago with our live stream. You guys are amazing and doing an amazing job with comments.
Yeah.
We had fun reading them in real time. I kind of wish we could do that more often.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was kind of a lot to live stream.
Scott
Maybe we'll
has
do it
these
again.
little kids that go to bed. And it's probably not the
If you're
best
still
idea.
awake, go to bed.
Yeah.
But anyways, we want to remind you all, even though if we're not live streaming, we still want to engage with you. So make sure you comment on this video on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, all the different places we are. Make sure you like and subscribe that, because the more you subscribe, the more you like, the more traction we get, because this goes out into YouTube algorithm and more people will get to see it. And we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to see us talk about random things.
And we're getting ready. We'll give out another T-shirt as well. A
Yeah.
Weird Faith Podcast T-shirts. Last episode, Michael Yost.
Go,
he was
Michael.
on fire there in the comments, and so we got him a schmedium shirt that he can wear. But we'll be looking for another one this time. So we're excited about that.
So make us laugh.
Yeah.
And
cry.
bribe us. I don't know.
Bribe us.
I like El Rey's guacamole. So if you want to just drop that off.
Phil likes gummy worms.
Gummy worms.
Yeah.
Scott likes peach rings.
I love
Yeah.
peach
I
rings.
think he ate the whole bag by himself the last time.
If you go back and watch the entire live stream event, I think I let Josh have one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to jump in and have conversations today about weird gadgets and navigating a digital world. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But you guys got something, right?
Ba-da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Not gonna take a lot to make me weird with you. That's something that 100 million weirdos could always do. I bless the weirdos on weird faith. Gonna take some time to talk about the things we never had.
I forgot to pull up the words. I got a lot of things to do.
So at first I was like, I'm into this. This is amazing. And then I got extremely nervous. I thought you were going to say, God bless the weirdos down in Africa. I'm like, please don't go there.
Hey, come on.
But you ended on a literal high note.
Yeah.
So Josh, point to Tori. Just want to say that was awesome.
Yeah.
You may have just sold us. We'll
I
know.
wrote that all by myself.
All by yourself.
Yeah.
You and
Absolutely.
You know,
And
I
didn't,
actually
use
have
it.
my best friend is just moved to Africa
Oh, really?
like last week.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I don't even know how to top that. That was
I made this. We're talking about weird gadgets is a little what do they
Like
call
a ball
that?
pit ball.
A ball pit ball, and I put some beads and some paper clips in it.
They make these things called shakers.
I know I couldn't find one. Now, we have one somewhere. I
Did
think
you
at
make
the
this
church.
here?
Yeah, right.
That's
before.
why you were a little late.
Yeah. It's got a
I
nice
said,
sound.
What were you doing? Like, why are you late? And he threw that to me. It's like, this is why.
It's commitment.
Put that up on the old shelf.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. So yeah, we're going to be talking about some weird gadgets and weird inventions. And so I had them prepare some strange inventions because in 375 BC, Plato said our need will be the real creator. Then Benjamin Jowett, a theologian in 1894, said that the true creator is necessity and who is the mother of invention. So everything they show us, I also want to know, there had to be a need to create this exact thing, right?
Sure.
And now some of these,
Somebody
I'm
thought
sure,
so.
and you all haven't shared these with each other, right?
No.
So this is even going to be fun for you. I've now seen them. I don't know what half of them are. So I'm looking forward to this. So the first invention, I can't remember whose this one is.
Ooh, that's mine. Yeah. So this looks like it maybe is from the 50s or 70s with like elevator
Get Smart.
shoes. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like with the phone and the
Look
shoe,
like
right?
dancing shoes.
It actually is from 2017 at the Consumer Electronics Show. This is called the Ecology Shoe, and it has a small vacuum there in the front of it.
Wow.
And what you actually do, it doesn't have batteries or anything, but there in the heel, you can see there's a switch. And what you do is you push down on your heel, and it makes this little vacuum motor work, and you can, clean your house with these shoes on. But it only has a very small little tray for to pull out and empty. And apparently you can't just walk around your house and it sucks stuff up. You kind of have to stand there and stomp your foot for a while, like a rabbit or
Like a
something.
Flintstones version of a Roomba.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
That would not work in my house with animals and kids. It would just be like
right, yeah.
2 inches worth of dirt, and I'm had to take it
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
That's
That's
awesome.
hilarious.
Yeah, it looked like something from Get Smart. Or do you remember there was one All-Star game where Shaquille O'Neal, like he went back-to-back years and he would always have these custom shoes.
Mhm.
One year was a custom cell phone shoe.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next year was a race car, what do you call it, like RC car that he could control with a remote.
That's funny.
He wasn't allowed to play in them because he's
Right.
360 pounds and could break it, but it was pretty cool. Tori's first one looks like Ryan from The Office.
It does.
Mm.
It's not, though. This one's hilarious. Okay. So this is called the Dyson Zone Air Purifying Headphones. And you would think that this would be like so amazing, to use during COVID or something, although they are gigantic. So it's a personal air filter that was actually made to use for pollution. And they started working on it back in 2016,
Wow.
which means that was before any of the ideas of COVID. One critic said that the force-driven fans would actually maximize your chances of catching COVID.
Oh, nice. It's like recycled it. Or
You will
sucked
not
everything
have
into your face.
smog in your nose, but you will have COVID in your nose.
Well,
So that one was a bit of a
The one
fail.
thing that made me laugh when I looked at it, I was like, that'd be perfect on a plane ride where you don't want to talk to anybody.
yeah, right.
Like one, you got headphones in, that sends a signal. Now you got your
Yeah.
face covered,
Right.
but now you got
I
the
can't
combination.
talk.
They think you're a weirdo and they're
Yes.
definitely not going to
Oh,
talk
absolutely.
to you. So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Who would walk around wearing one of those?
All right, next for Phil is this one.
Yeah, so that there is called Brow Magic. You can see there she used it on her right eyebrow. And what that actually is a printer to put makeup on your face. You customize how you want to use it on this app, whether you want your brows thick or whether you want it to look like, which I don't even really know what this means, but like microblading and maybe a different look. And you just drag it across your face and it prints through powder eyebrows on you. Yeah.
So it's a fake eyebrow, or is it maximizing?
Well, it's a makeup. It's a makeup printer. Yeah.
Interesting.
So you can rub it off and then start over if something happened. I guess it's similar to like, they also have a tattoo printer as well for like temporary tattoos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I thought that one's kind of neat. I wanted to get a sleeve
Every time
or
they use
something.
pass or promises a
Yeah,
tattoo,
right.
that's what they need. All right, next up, this one I saw this one too already, and this one really made me laugh. So
Yeah.
here we go.
This is hilarious.
I saw that
Did you
one.
see this?
Uh-huh.
Did you read about it though?
Uh-huh.
That's the funny
didn't read
part.
about it.
So reading about it is hilarious. So this is a selfie toaster, And so what you would normally assume would happen is that you would connect it to your cell phone or some kind of device and it would print a picture, but that is not what happens. You have to send into the company. They have to create a special laser cut metal grilling plate
awesome.
for you to insert into this toaster. And then it will. So yeah, it's a whole.
After they saw, Mary in the toast. They were like, well, I gotta be on
so
toast.
what's funny is you sent me these yesterday, I think. So yesterday morning, I was doing what the normal person does. I'm scrolling through TikTok when you wake up, and I saw someone write a message to their spouse in toast.
Oh,
you just indent it with your finger, and it literally just said, "I love you," and then they toasted it, and it came out, and it was still there.
Oh.
Or you can write really mean messages to your spouse
if you're poking my toast, I'm gonna be mad at you.
I know. I'm like, did you wash your hands first?
I know. Who wants to eat toast?
Next one is this.
Yeah, this one was my favorite. I actually laughed out loud when I was looking at this. This is a bicycle for your family, which is really like, what do you call it? Like misogynistic or something. For some reason, the mother here cannot just ride her bike. She's got to be sewing.
She's on like a Singer sewing machine.
Yeah. So it runs with with the pedals. It helps run this Singer sewing machine, but mom has to, tend to her duties apparently, and everyone else has fun. Yeah.
But at the same time, I wonder if her foot pedal does any work itself for the bike.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they fell over? Like,
that's what I want to see.
That girl's
catastrophic.
Dead. Yeah, absolutely. She's going to get shot off a bridge somewhere.
I mean, imagine that. I'm trying to think through, like, we're teaching Sadie how to ride a bike right now, and just getting her on the bike is always fun. But trying to see Dad climb up there without falling over would be really funny.
Well, go back to the picture. Look at this guy's physique too. I mean, he's stacked. That the guy in the back. No,
he's probably pushing the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
He's got those giant quads. It's all him.
He's a strongman competition back there, powering the whole thing.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. All right. Next one.
Oh, this is called the Happy Fork. And the Happy Fork buzzes you, not really buzzes you, but like it vibrates if you're eating too quickly. And it makes you slow down. And it's supposed to make you take at least 20 minutes to eat your meal.
Okay.
So
that would be terrible to have like a vibration through your teeth.
I don't want that thing.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
No, for sure not.
I mostly eat hamburgers anyway. So
I eat quick.
That is not
I would
true.
not
I
like
do
that.
too. I really get way too fast.
I had a great aunt that was just the most prim and proper lady. And I will always, like every time we were with her, she would take a bite, like a tiny little bite. She would put her fork down and like rest her hands and chew it like 20 or 30 times. She just looked like the Queen of England eating her food. And I always wanted to do that. But
meanwhile, my family, like extended family, dinner rolls are a utensil. Like you just sop up all the butter and stuff.
Yeah. And if you don't eat your food fast enough, your dad's going to eat it.
Yeah.
So like, you better get on that.
She's calling you out, Rich. She's coming right at you. So there's a joke in our family about if you take too long to eat, which Chloe sometimes does, but we just say, hey, okay, Grandma Sally. Because Grandma Sally also,
grandma.
She just likes to talk, I think. And I don't know, she
enjoys it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody around the table when we go to her Thanksgiving at her house is going, oh gosh, that's so amazing. So that slows you down too when you got to make comments. Oh yeah, this is the best meal I've ever had.
Did you ever see the movie What About Bob? Bill Murray. That's a family like moment for my family. It's like the movie we bond over, and there's a whole scene of him before. It's Bill Murray between every bite. Oh, this is amazing.
That's it.
That's my family.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Katie, we still will never forget the moment you walked out of that movie. My family has not forgiven you for that.
One
day you'll watch the whole thing and enjoy it like the rest of us.
One day you'll watch this podcast and find out.
Phil called you out. Hey, by the way, real quick. So we had pastor's lunch today, and Phil and I went to a pastor's lunch, and my kids came with me. And when you got out of the car, when we dropped you back off, Sadie said in the back, I didn't prompt her. I've never called you this around her. So where'd Pastor Phil go? I'm like, who told you that's Pastor Phil? I don't know, but it still made me
that's hilarious.
It was kind of adorable. All right. So next one.
Oh yeah, that's mine. Okay. So
the rest of these are yours, right?
No, I have one more.
I have a couple real quick ones. This is It opens so many questions. This is the
Looks like a
revolver
revolver.
camera. So you see there on the left is a camera, pictures like a photo booth. So when you pull the trigger, it takes a picture as well as shooting whatever you're pointed at.
That's
so
cool.
all of these pictures over
That's
here,
triggered.
the very top one looks like, yeah, exactly. This very top one looks like an older man with a newspaper. Apparently he's dead now. There's someone. What?
Shut up.
I mean, this is not.
No, it means just for the fact how old it is. Is that what you're saying?
No, I meant because they took a picture of him.
That means
pull the trigger.
They shot him.
Oh, it actually shoots him? No, it doesn't.
That's what it says. A gun that took a photo before firing a shot was invented in 1938. So it's all these older people that just look completely innocent. I don't know what's going on here. I got a lot of questions.
It's not okay.
Right? Yeah.
This is immoral. We're going to change our podcast topic today. Wow. Did you? I wanted to include this one in the game later, but it's too obvious what it is. Did you see the mousetrap one?
Mm-mm.
The gun mousetrap. It was like a normal mousetrap, but it said a 50 caliber handgun.
What?
Was attached to it, and so whenever it snapped, instead of snapping it like that and then breaking his neck, it shot a 50 caliber around. I'm like, can you imagine sitting in your house? Bang!
Yeah, right. You wouldn't have to clean anything up.
Splatter.
It's just evaporate.
I'm like, that's
Oh my
amazing.
goodness.
Yeah, that's funny.
But it was too obvious for what it was. Here, all right, Tori.
All right.
Oh, that one's mine again.
Oh,
No,
that's
This
Sorry.
is the precursor to the iPod or something like this. This is a radio hat where you could listen to music on the go. And there you go.
Oh my goodness.
1931. A lot of these here at the end are in the 30s. Apparently, they were pretty, creative back then.
So I was watching, I love old shows, and Donna Reed is one of my favorite shows. And I watch it, I have it on like while I'm doing dishes and doing laundry and all of that. It makes me happy. Anyway, yesterday there was a kid, and I think it was like 1961, 62. A kid had on headphones with a giant transistor radio on the side of his head
cool.
with the
Oh,
headphone.
that's
It was
funny.
so neat.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
All right, I do. I forgot to put yours in there, but I got it.
Okay. Oh my goodness. This is one of my favorites. And this is the one that I think is, well, I don't know. That other one was pretty cool. But so this is called, this is the best thing ever. This is called Hush Me. Okay.
Okay.
And you connect it to your phone, and it goes in your ears and over your mouth so that you can make phone calls in silence and no one can hear you.
That's terrible.
And I think it's the most hilarious thing.
There are
It
a
looks
lot-
like the man in the Iron
I
Mask
want a
or
lot of people to
something.
have this, though.
Yeah,
I
right. Oh,
agree.
if you're going to talk on a plane, on a phone, I guess you can't do it on a plane.
My pet peeve is people who talk on speakerphone in public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't
It's the
want to
worst.
hear it.
Yeah.
Already, now I get it. There are people who have some hearing issues, but already the loud ringtone in public, and when it's always obnoxious, it's always like Sweet Home Alabama,
Yeah.
or barking dogs, and then you talk on speakerphone where everyone can hear you. And it's usually private conversation that no one really wants to know.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
So yes, I love that invention.
That just looked hilarious, though.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right.
This is a piano that you can play while you lay down.
This is the only way I would take piano lessons.
Yeah. She looks comfortable.
It does. I mean,
Yeah.
probably crushing her kneecaps, but
Right.
wow.
I thought it was a tractor. Just from here.
Oh, this is a invention that helps you smoke while it's raining.
Okay.
Apparently, I'd not known that was a big, like, how much would it have to rain to put your cigarette out? It would
I
have-
mean, but at the same time, he's got a hat on.
yeah.
That would sort of block it out.
Maybe it's
I
a
don't
real
know.
problem.
That was
That was my last one, I think. Yeah. All those last ones that we did were that was 1931.
so you kind of went like the modern route,
I did.
and you went the
yeah.
antique route.
Yeah. I had a
which
couple
is
in the
fun.
beginning that were newer, but yeah, it was those 30s. They were roaring.
I also want to point out how much I love technology with my beautiful piece of paper here. Phil said,
She couldn't use a laptop.
Phil
She had
said,
to-
put it in your notes in your phone. And I said, nope, I'll take a piece of paper.
there you go.
That's funny. At the end of this, in a little while, we're going to play a game. Because if you've ever gone to Phil's office, if you're ever that special, your office is filled with antiques that you guys have found at, like, you said, a specific antique store.
Yeah, there's one in Morgantown,
Mhm.
and it was, what was it called?
Pickers.
Oh, yeah. Picker's Paradise, I think
Yeah.
is
Oh,
what
that's
it was
cool.
called.
But yeah, so they got like random things just around and stuff that people have given them. So I'm going to test their knowledge later with a game called Ancient Artifacts. So stick around for that. And because we want you to play along with us as we go along. Now, some of those aren't really that ancient. I mean, we're talking as way back as like the 1970s.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Way back in the
Before my time.
1900s. But all before all three of us.
Yeah,
So
Yes.
there we go. Because one of the things that we're going to talk about in a little bit is that all three of us, according to sociologists, are all millennials. So
Yeah.
we are the best and you are not. That's why no one came up with a cool name for Gen X.
Right.
Y'all didn't do anything. I'm
And
just
then
kidding. Y'all-
Gen Alpha, I think, is after that, right?
My kids are Gen Alpha.
Yeah, they just started
So
over.
Gen Z, which is also iGen,
Mm.
and then Gen Alpha. I guess we started over. I don't know when they started keeping track. So I guess you got to go like 18 years times the alphabet backwards.
What was it? Yeah. Greatest Generation, I think, is the first one that
That's like World War II era,
Yeah,
and then it was baby boomers.
baby boomers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they started the whole generation thing apparently because they're just at the top.
They're the
Greatest. Yeah. I like them.
According to them, they're the best. But so before we get any further, I have some inventions that I'm going to show these two. And if you remember the game Boulder Dash, where you have to make up a definition, you're going to make up what this is. They're going to tell me what they are looking at, and then I'll tell you exactly what it is. But I want you all each round to vote on who you think has the best definition or best explanation of what
yeah.
this one
Okay.
is. So your
Okay.
first one might be my favorite one, just
All
because
right.
it's.
Who's going? Are we both doing an explanation?
We'll let you go first, but each of you will do an explanation.
Okay.
All right, here's the first one.
All right. Oh man, that looks like a tool that helps you decide whether you're going to be a good dad or not.
Oh,
So what you're doing is you're making sure that you can give piggyback rides in a way that is safe, in a way that you can handle it. You don't collapse. If you're a really good dad, every once in a while, when they're on your shoulders like that, they can fall asleep on your head.
That's true.
That's when you have reached the pinnacle of dadness. And this is a tool that tests that.
I'm not sure he's ready because he's not even smiling.
I know. No.
That's,
Not
that's a
enjoying
special
it.
moment for a dad. So.
Yeah.
All right, Tori, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I'm pretty sure it's a robot buddy that cheers you on as you're going up a hill.
Oh, it does look like
Is
it's
that what it is?
So, Tori, first off, let us know what you think, but Tori actually is the closest.
Okay.
This is called the Tomatan. It is a backpack that feeds you tomatoes. It's a robotic backpack for runners because apparently tomatoes are a great source of energy when you're running.
That's great.
My running friends who usually fall on the treadmill when they listen to Weird Faith, tell me if this is true or not.
Yeah, right.
And maybe if you fall, you should eat a tomato. But this is for runners who are racing that need to be refueled. It is always stocked with 6 tomatoes, and these robotic arms will reach down and feed you a tomato.
That is ridiculous.
So weird.
Tomatan. All right. So I have my vote. I say winner goes to Tori, but you guys let us know online. Phil, you ready?
All right.
Next one.
Okay. This is a library tool to help you read in peace,
Oh.
to not, to where you can block out all the noise. And it's called the personal library.
I like it.
That's
That is good.
very good. I like it.
I
What do you think, Tori?
I think you win. Well, I mean, my first guess would be a hairdryer
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
or I don't know. It looks like there's light on it. Maybe like a sun tanning,
Oh.
like a tanning
I
thing.
guess she's going to have raccoon eyes, though, because she's got those big goggles on.
So this person's
No.
name is Betty Cook, and she is a lab assistant at the Stanford Research Institute, and she is participating in a blink test.
Ah,
A blink test as part of a project study to see how smog affects your eyes. So out in Stanford, it's out in, of course, out in California, they deal with a lot of smog in the air.
Hmm.
They're trying to see if it irritates your eyes or not. And so that mask is a smog mask, and they're pumping smog into there, and they have little cameras on her eyes detecting how many blinks she has a minute.
Huh.
And just for you,
Sounds
so you
horrible.
know it does affect your eyes and dries them out. But they're trying to see if she's still able to read. So you were close on that one.
Okay.
With the smog.
That's weird.
She needs a Dyson Zone air purifying headphones.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah,
But she could wear the up on her eyes instead of her nose.
So you get the reading part right. So my vote, I'll let Phil have that one. You guys, again,
hilarious.
let us know. The next one, and we've already had something similar, but I still want to throw it on here.
Ooh, I actually know what this one is. It is
If you get the name right, I'll be very impressed.
I'm pretty sure it's definitely a bike where you hang from the middle. And I think you start off kind of running and using your legs like a Flintstone powered bike.
You got it. I mean, that's
Pedo bike.
it's the Fliz bike.
Fliz, no.
Named derived from Flitzen, meaning to whiz or dash in German. Fliz is a concept bike without pedals. So yeah, you literally have this harness that you hang your body from around your torso, and you start running. And then once you get enough speed, there's like a little tiny spot above the back wheel there where you can put your feet, and then you just glide.
Yeah.
Wow.
But if you got to stop,
That would be scary.
you got to literally put your feet down.
Right.
I didn't give you a chance.
No, I didn't.
He literally got it right.
I didn't even have a guess.
But so they said it's for comfort and convenience. I'm like, there's nothing
That's
comfortable
not.
about that. And
Or
also,
convenient.
I'm pretty sure the bike was invented so you didn't have to walk or run.
Mm.
So now you're riding a bike and you have to walk or
I
run.
like the mission.
You do?
I also don't like to walk around. I'm not sure the execution was right, but
All right, so we'll go to Tori to start off this next one.
oh wow.
What in this world? I have no idea. I'm going to say a really pretty chamber pot.
I mean, I could see a gravy boat, right? That'd be just amazing. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I'm on the same level, except for it definitely you put your feet in it. So this is on the go, like porta shoes.
You're right. On the go porta potty thing. Yeah.
I was hoping one of you would say that. But this is actually a single person rubber boat that is for fishermen and hikers who can just put their feet in like waders and then just walk into the river and float away like on a boat.
It doesn't look like it would be. It looks like most of your body would stay out of the water, and then you would just tip over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing there's enough space for you to like sit down.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, maybe that.
We don't see this in production anymore, so apparently it didn't do that hot.
I think it's kind of cool. I think I would try it.
Let's do it.
We
Let's
should get one of these for
reinvent
baptisms.
Ooh, yeah.
We can make it out of the waders that we have.
don't have to get in the water. We can baptize without.
We just float and then tip over. Yeah, there you go. So, a couple more. What do you think this is?
Oh, very
other than child
It's
abuse.
a child. All right, who is it?
You go.
Okay. I think it's just a really fashionable necklace that they've got going on there
Yeah.
that is really tight and maybe a little bit uncomfortable. It's pretty heavy looking.
No, it's for sure a shock collar for Ben.
That's why you can tell he is crying.
Yeah,
he
right.
is.
Yeah.
Right. I think everyone's dog has one of these.
They
right?
they weren't as careful with children in the 50s.
Oh,
as
sure.
They
Yeah, it's not until the millennials showed up that they started getting
That
safe.
helicopter.
This is actually called just simply the neck brush. And it cleans a child's neck without the use of soap and water. And this was invented in Los Angeles in January of 1950. The plastic collar brush will dry clean the youngster's neck thoroughly as he plays. The brush was developed by the Los Angeles Brush Corps at a mother's suggestion.
That is the worst.
Why in the
ever.
50s were kids' necks getting so dirty?
I know,
Right? I'm trying to feel like,
That's a thing.
but also like, take a bath.
Yeah,
No.
for sure.
No.
But
You
even
can't
like,
expect them
No,
to
I mean, if, for my Cowan listeners, this would be fantastic, like mid-high camp at Cowan. Like this, these kids who are not bathing the entire week.
Yeah.
So this
Put
kid
one of these on them, their neck will always be clean.
is running around with a Brillo pad,
Right.
rubbing its neck raw,
Yeah,
just because that's where disease gets in,
Yeah.
right? I
disease
guess.
comes through the neck.
Oh, yep. You
like
gotta watch
Andy
out.
Griffith, Donna Reed, all these old 50 shows, they talk about go clean your neck. Your neck's so
And
dirty.
behind your ears.
What?
Behind your ears, I
Yeah.
get.
If you're in the
I mean,
mud.
no.
and stuff,
I
yeah.
get that you're not going to clean it because you might forget.
Right.
But again, I don't know how you get. I mean, like if you're rolling around in the dirt, that's one thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. One more. I'll give point to Tori on that one for the shot collars. So I think we're tied 2-2.
Okay.
Yeah. 2-2 according to my votes.
You're going
They might
down.
say something different.
I'm going to crush you.
Last one.
Okay. That obviously is a gas mask carriage for a baby to keep, mustard gas, whatever you got going on. You need to be sure that you can still walk your baby outside on a nice little stroll and not have your baby, be affected by that.
You want to change it at all?
No, that's for what it is.
I mean, this
for
is
sure.
so sad to look at.
It is.
Just leave your baby inside.
Well, so this was invented in
It's not
1939 and during the height of World War II, right?
Sure,
and so
right.
this was actually in England, and they were doing, basically drills of tear gas being dropped or other toxic gases being dropped on there through bombs from Germans. And so they built these things. And so what made me, it was sad, but really kind of made me laugh about it. I play a secret game in Clarksburg called What's in the Stroller Today. If you've ever noticed when you drive around, everyone has a stroller, but 97% of the time, it's not a baby.
Nope.
I have seen a flat screen TV. Someone saw a sink, like a whole pedestal sink. That one was funny. Every now and then you do see a dog.
A dog.
A dog, which is fine. I still think it's weird. I have a dog. I would not do that. I've seen a cat. I just started thinking like this is something that would be really helpful for people to have in Clarksburg because it'd be more like secretive what you got in there.
Right.
Discreet,
Yeah.
Like you could get that whole pedestal sink in that thing and nobody would ever
Nobody
know
has to.
unless you're walking around yourself with that mask on too.
Yeah, that might be a red flag.
Yeah, you would definitely get pulled over and questioned.
Never trust the person in a gas mask.
You could guess that there's like a small little fire in there keeping the baby warm with this little chimney.
Yeah, there was a
there you
chimney.
Yeah, so that's my quiz game for you all. Did you all have any other inventions you wanted to like just that you came across, or any other funny ones?
I had seen the one that you with the quiet, to be able to talk.
Hush me.
Yeah, that one would be nice for kids if they're crying. Any other else that stand out to you?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
A lot of them just made me think: how in the world did the Greatest Generation actually survive?
yeah,
For
right.
sure.
Because most of them were during that era,
Yeah.
and then most of them were done to children.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I'm like, how in the world did you get like the bike one with the sewing machine? How did you not die
Right.
falling off the top of that thing?
Let's say it's funny because if you look at like jungle gyms and things like that back or slides from that era, it's like this person got launched into space
Yes.
and probably was 1,000 degrees.
Yeah.
And died of tetanus also.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're all metal. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we talk about these old gadgets and inventions, one of the things we wanted to talk through is we definitely have seen technological advancements over the years. Like we said, we're three of us are millennials. And so we're talking only in the 30 to 40 years that we've been on this earth. But if you really think about it, we've seen a lot of advancement over the decades. And so one of the things that I'm on Facebook, when we lived in Parkersburg, I was on an early Parkersburg in history Facebook page. And basically all it is pictures from the 60s and 70s. And the comments are always people with angry emojis and sad emojis complaining about buildings being torn down. And then people talking about the glory days. And so pretty much everyone who's on that Facebook page, other than me, their glory days were the 60s and 70s. And that's when they peaked. And so they're still wanting to go back there. So much so, I told Phil this earlier, someone literally put in the comments the other day, oh, the black and white era, I wish we could go back there. I'm like, and he said the exact same thing I was thinking. I'm like, it sounds like Dorothy wanting to leave Oz to go back to Kansas. So I'm like, this is...
it wasn't actually black and white.
Yeah,
back
fun fact, it was actually in color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sing it.
But it really kind of cracked me up. And what'd you say?
I said sing it.
Sing it in color?
Yeah. You should have seen it in color, right? Isn't that a song?
Jamie Johnson song?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a country song.
It's a country song.
Yeah.
It's
You know country
it's
more
an
than I do.
elderly man showing his grandson the pictures of black and white from his time in war.
Oh, yeah.
He said, hey, you should see it then. You should have seen it in color.
Did you have? Didn't you have a color? A black and white TV? Not because
Yeah,
you were
when
in
we-
that era, but
No, yeah, when I was really, really little, I think, or maybe it was just looking back, maybe it was just the shows that my family watched that were
Andy Griffith,
Like all
right?
the-
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Griffith and
maybe that's
the
what it was.
Honeymooners. I
Yeah.
bet that's what it was.
That's funny.
I bet it wasn't
Yeah,
a black and
that's
white
funny.
TV. That would make so much more
Poe
sense.
mouth and your parents. We couldn't even afford a color TV.
It was only 19 inches. It was tiny.
But and, as we think about it, every generation has that glory days mentality. If we think back fondly over a time period, but what's funny to me is because as they're thinking back to it, what I know they're trying to communicate was they're probably for them it was a simpler time. And if you really do think about it, things have gotten progressively faster. Things have gotten more advanced and more developed, and so there probably was a simpler time. So much so, the digital world we live in, people are predicting that in the 21st century alone, the exponential change that we will see will not reflect 100 years of change, but actually 20,000 years of change and development.
Wow.
So think back for a second. We weren't alive yet, but some of you all were. We're only talking 54 years ago that man was on the moon.
Supposedly.
So, there's a whole other podcast just on that. Go back and listen to that one. But no, think about that. 54 years ago, man's on the moon, and think about all the different things that we see now today. But even go back further, some of the amazing technological advancements that we've seen in just human history. So the printing press, 1440, the need was mass production of books, mass production of education and materials. But does anybody know what the very first thing ever printed on the printing press was?
The Bible.
The Bible, right? So they wanted to put the Bible into every person's hands, and so they could read it. But the result of the printing press was higher literacy rates, spread of knowledge, creation of libraries where you can go and put those smog masks on. So the necessity was not enough people were reading, so they invented this printing press and they developed it. 1775, people couldn't get anywhere fast, so someone invented the steam engine, right? So the need was faster transportation among growing populations who are spreading all across the world, across the country, but also the need to transport goods. And the result was transportation and machinery that led to the first industrial revolution, increased trade, agriculture, production. And because of the invention by James Watt, we now see locomotives, steamships, the first automobiles, and look where we are today. Again, supposedly, we're putting people on the moon, but we haven't done it in 54 years. But apparently,
we're going to Mars.
2 years, we're going to be back on the moon, I think, right? And then Mars. We shot a Tesla into space, so that was cool. Then 1880, we get the invention of the light bulb, which is credited to Thomas Edison, but we all know that he only improved on the work of other people who had already kind of invented it.
I like the light bulb.
Huh?
I like the
light bulb's great, right? But think about this. We now have electricity and lighting in every home and every workspace, and they're aiding also in plant growth. Phil brought a plant that I killed. I'm going to do this while you're on set with us. I killed a plant that Tori gave us when we moved here a year ago. I killed it. Phil brought it back to life. And I have kept it alive for a month and a half.
To be fair, he went out of town or something
for like 3 weeks. It was vacation and camp season. So he came back and all the leaves were on the couch.
I was surprised it came back because there was nothing. It was
literally, it looked like Groot whenever the Guardians won. It was just a stick. Yeah.
That's funny.
In 1876, we get the invention of the telephone from Alexander Graham Bell, and he was looking to improve upon the telegraph. And he was beginning to research voice transmission. So the need was communication. The result was now we were able to communicate across long distances. You go back to your TV land days and you remember, I just lost her name. In Annie Griffith, I can remember the switch operator's name.
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah. So you see Sarah going, plugging the different things in, the different wires in to communicate. But now look where we are. 1983 was the very first ever mobile phone. The Motorola Dynatak 8000X, invented by Martin Cooper. And this is amazing. They had a 30-minute battery life.
So was that like a bag phone?
That was just the first. I guess that probably was the equivalent of a bag phone.
Because my parents had one of those in their car. And I don't know what else was involved in it. It must have been a battery or something, but it was a whole bag.
Back then, you plugged everything into the cigarette lighter.
Yeah,
that's true. We had a bag phone.
I don't think kids even know that's called a cigarette lighter.
So.
Yeah, like this, to them, it's only a charger.
Right. Yeah.
Now that we're being replaced with USB ports, right? But I thought the 30-minute battery life was really funny. I'm like, that's like an iPhone that's 4 years old. But then, so the obvious ones would be the internet and the personal computer. And so let's just kind of stop for a second, look back over a few decades and see specifically just in our life, some crazy things to think about. So 30 years ago, people barely knew what a computer was. In 1984, 8% of only the U.S. population had personal computer. You all remember getting a computer, like your first home computer?
Oh, yeah.
We got ours in Missouri. For Christmas one year, I remember there's a family computer, and my parents put like the big boot prints for like Santa Claus, like going down the steps into the basement, and it had Windows 1995 and Oregon Trail.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oregon Trail was so much fun. But that was like our first computer. But listen to this. Now, not just America, 40% of the world has access to the internet. It still seems really low.
I was going to say,
it seems really low, right?
Yeah.
It seems really low, but if you think about it, that's actually really high. And you think about and that's one of the things I know, like Musk is trying to do. A Starlink is to provide.
I just saw it the other night too.
Yeah,
did you see it?
Well, remember you yelled for me and I came outside.
It was out over the horizon.
You didn't know
by
where
the
we're
time.
taking
Go back to the live stream episode. The aliens are back over Clarksburg. I think was that last night?
It was 2 nights ago.
So they were here last night.
They, yeah.
I guess they were over Harrison County for 2 nights in a row.
Okay.
I guess you can get online and follow it. I think someone said.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah. So also, this is the one that blew my mind the most. So when you jump online, you're using data, right? 40%. No. Sorry. The internet, while it was invented 40 years ago, 90% of the world's data has only been produced in the last 2 years alone.
Wow.
So 90% of the data we've ever used.
Data
Or data?
Data.
Data. What do you say?
I'm just saying like, no, I'm saying like Keely probably says data.
She said daddy.
Oh, okay.
More adorable.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
90% of the world's daddy, was produced in the last 2 years alone. So much so that each day humanity produces 2.5 quintillion byte of data.
Yeah. I remember.
And that number is only expected to increase.
When we probably first got the internet, it was like 500 kilobytes, I guess, right? Because now it's now
we're terabytes.
Oh, really? Yeah. I think.
Or gigabytes is internet. Yeah.
Terabyte
storage.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I remember that too. It was like, oh, wow, this is a 1 megabyte hard drive or something like that. And now you can get terabytes, which is.
Well, I remember, so when I had my first cell phone, I was the 5th person added to the plan in my family. So like almost everything was free with Sprint back then. Like if you got the 5th person, just a nice little bonus for me. But one of the things that I had with that was like free data. So when smartphones came out, it was normal for me to always do my phone, not relying on internet. So then I joined when we got married, we had our own phone plan. Katie had always used like limits. I was like, I have never lived with that kind of limitation. I promise you this may not be a good idea. And I showed her, like, you can go on your iPhone and look. Oh, it would have been insane. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And so we luckily we found a good deal. But
it used to be like 25 cents a text.
Yeah.
25 cents a text.
Katie had a lunch or dinner the other night with some friends, and someone there who is younger than us said, "What is T9 texting?"
Yeah.
You remember T9 texting? That's
where you do you press
hit each button.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I was
good at that.
They used to have contests. Like,
right, yeah.
You can go on YouTube and still see texting like speeds.
I could do it like under the table.
Yeah, sit in college watching the professor.
I think so too. Mine is all messed up. There's a period everywhere. Like words are all crunched together. Yeah, it's bad now.
Speaking of phones,
things were better back when we were kids.
5 billion people of the 8 billion people in the world, 5 billion people now have a mobile phone.
Wow. Yeah.
That's insane.
So I've been in Indonesia, Costa Rica, Haiti. No, not Haiti, Dominican Republic. And so I live streamed while I was driving in a remote village, or someone else was driving, not me. And live streamed, and you could watch it across the world, out in the jungle. It was insane. No electricity anywhere, but somehow you're able to do.
I remember the moment I was like, this is insane. I was working one time for a friend of mine in Huntington, and they were doing estate sales, and he had me basically at the end of the driveway, coupling traffic coming in and out off the main road. So when their cars weren't coming, I had my little smartphone. It was the one time I owned an Android. Then I met Jesus and got an iPhone. But
amen.
Netflix was now an app, and I was watching Lost.
Yeah,
while sitting there in my car. I'm like, I am watching TV on my phone.
Our
This is
kids
incredible.
Are spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, this you all don't know what we used to have and didn't have.
One day they'll probably get internet out by Ritchie County. Driving from here to Parkersburg, everything bogs down.
You know, one thing about smartphones, I don't know if you're going to talk about it or not, but that I think is one of my favorite all-time shows growing up was The Jetsons.
Mhm.
And when I was a kid, I would wake up. I would like set an alarm when I was like 8 and 9 years old. I would set an alarm for 6 a.m. because that's when The Jetsons came on.
That's awesome.
And I would get up and watch The Jetsons. And the FaceTime thing, like that is a Jetsons invention.
I know the show Big Bang Theory, they talked about like a lot of the things that we have now were inspired by the Jetsons, Star Trek, and Back to the Future.
Well, the eyebrow printer, the makeup thing, wasn't you'd sit in a chair and they put a thing over your head and it do your hair and makeup and everything, right?
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So with all of that, we didn't even discuss like innovations in medicine. I mean, navigation.
Yeah.
Y'all remember maps? Like actually like have
yeah.
That was one of my favorite things to do with students back in the youth ministry days. One time I was talking about just how to navigate life and I brought a map. I said, how do you get from here? And I gave them a random spot in Parkersburg. I said, show me on this map. And they could not figure out how to do it. And I was like, how would you do it? And they said, hey Siri, pull up
Maps where you had
Google
to print out 20
Map
pages.
Quest.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
MapQuest and Google Maps, yeah.
That's what I meant.
So the question though is that when we think about faith and as believers, is how do we navigate this constantly changing digital world? Like we said, just alone, there's been a lot of change just in our lifetimes. I know some of you, it's been even more so. And some of you have only been alive 10 years, but you've also seen a lot of just transition in life. So one of the things we want to talk about is just how we navigate that digital life, because it can be very difficult. And one reaction that we do see some people have is to go completely shut off from it, right? We can go the extreme route and just be like, I'm not going to deal with it. I don't want technology in the house. I don't want electricity in the house. All these different things. And they go off the grid.
Do you know there's a name for that?
What's that?
Luddite. To be a Luddite is to be against, to see technology as evil.
Okay.
There you go.
And then that's cool. Now I learned something.
Yeah.
You learned
I
something.
thought that was called Amish.
You know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I thought that was called Amish.
That's for religious
Amish, right? The religious purposes. But then you have the other extreme, and it's like we'll just take anything and use anything. And next thing you know, every Sunday when you get the little alert that says you have 10 hours of screen time, and you're like, oh, I feel really terrible about my life. But I'm going to just kind of give a few pointers that we kind of feel like would be helpful for us. And the first one, and we'll kind of stop in between each of these four and just talk a little bit more about it. The first, in this digital world, be authentically who God has called you to be.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I say that is when you jump on social media specifically, and if you think about it, just Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Be Real, go back to MySpace. I'm missing one big one now. Maybe it's TikTok, I guess. Vines.
Kind of.
Pinterest. I don't know, maybe it said Snapchat. AOL Instant Messenger. Do you guys remember AOL Instant Messenger? Remember your screen name? I think I asked you this earlier.
I don't remember it. Mine was probably Vic in the 50s, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mine was 22SM.
Ah, okay.
22 was my number. And I still I still have that one email that I have. It's 22SM. It just carried along with me. But one of the things with all the social media that we've kind of talked about this before, is that you can put on a facade about a great life.
Yeah.
And secretly have an absolutely terrible life. You can post the right picture. You can pose for that picture. You can set everything right to make everything look good. You could quickly clean up one corner of your house just for that one picture, make everything look good. But secretly, you're living a lie and you're deceiving not only yourself, you're trying to deceive everybody else. I mean, how do you all see that with just that regard?
I just read a story about a lady that was known as a child guru as far as parenting, and just got her kids taken away.
Really?
Yeah, which is super, terrible. But it's just so weird that people were looking up to her as this example, and then to go something as drastic as to lose your children because of how you were treating them is just goes to show that
she was starving them and abusing them.
Oh my god,
just ridiculous.
She was using food as a punishment. You don't do this, you don't eat.
Yeah, terrible.
Awful. Yeah, that's terrible. So
transition out of that, Scott.
So here, I can transition. Did you see a couple years ago, the story about the lady, I think it was her sister, finally like had enough of her and took pictures of her outside in their backyard as she was going on a jog. And she like had, her hair was perfect, like everything. And it was like this photo shoot kind of thing she was doing as she was on this jog, and she was standing in their backyard.
That's awesome.
There's one too where there's like people put like hot dogs like on something where it looks like it's their legs at the beach, and it's not even.
So in all of that, one of the things that I think we really experienced during the pandemic, not to trigger you and think about this, but we saw social media for what it really was. We all hate Zoom calls still. We all hate FaceTime. And we don't like that because one of the things that we realized is that it wasn't authentic community anymore. And one of the reasons why it wasn't true authentic community is that nobody was being their true authentic self. And so first thing we want to talk to you is just about being authentically who God has called you to be. And if you truly present an authentic self, you can truly experience authentic community. The second thing is to be present. One of the things that technology allows us to do, the easy temptation, is to escape reality. Especially nowadays, we even have virtual reality stuff right now. I think that would make me sick. I haven't tried any of like the goggles yet. I think I would throw up.
Noah has done it some at the mall. They have like a thing you can do where you're in it.
The only thing I think you might appreciate this. The only thing I would say I would want to be able to do is to be able to virtual reality and do some athletic feat that never been able to like dunk.
Exactly.
That's what I want to be able to do. Give me the sensation like I actually dunked a basketball,
right.
or just give me an 8-foot rim. I think I can do that.
One of the other things they have, which I think would be kind of fun, is where you're walking on a beam and you're in a skyscraper.
No.
And you've seen, there's videos out there. Have you seen them where like someone's doing it and then they like jump into the TV or a Christmas tree because they have this headset on?
That's hilarious.
Pretty funny. But not only are you escaping reality in that way, you're also escaping the moments you're currently in. Especially as a parent, and I'm confessing this, it's very easy while your kids are around. And she's on her phone right now. She's escaping the podcast.
Noah is texting me, okay? He knows where we are, and he does this every single time. Noah, I love you so much. Every time we go anywhere and tell him where we're going, he texts us a little while later and says, "Where are you guys again? Where'd you go?" Noah has no idea.
No, we're all safe.
We're
good. Everything's okay. They'll see you here in a little bit, okay? We'll get them home safe. No, but it's easy to disconnect from the moments you're in and jump on your phone and scroll through something. And next thing you know, you've missed 45 minutes to an hour of your child's life. And also like other places. I know it's uncomfortable. What did people do in lines before phones?
I know, right?
Like we actually had to stand there and talk to people. But one of the temptations is to completely disengage from the moment. And then we're now completely rude to people around, and we're like, completely shut off from reality.
Right. Yeah, I've done that with you, and you've probably done it with me some too. But I'll look over and you're on your phone for a long time. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And a lot of times you're not. You're like anxious about something or frustrated with something, and it can become our security blanket. Where, in ways, we use it as like a way to medicate our problems rather than dealing with the emotions that we have. For you, most of the time, you don't even know it until then we talk it through and things are better. But I'm sure it's an empty way to do that. There is no lasting satisfaction on the other side of that, just deeper loneliness.
It's also not even just your phones, your TV and binging of TV shows is the exact same thing. It's like, again, I go to parenting right now just because of a stage that we're in with kids. It's easy when kids are freaking out. What do? You turn Bluey on, or we're watching Spidey and Friends right now, and that is awesome. But it's easy to just disengage and just zone out, instead of actually being present in the moment, enjoying spending time with kids, spending time with other people. The third one, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, because of something Tori posted on Facebook a couple of days ago. So you inspired this. Is to set healthy boundaries and limitations with your technology. While yes, it is a fantastic tool, it can quickly become distractions. It can quickly become a source of wickedness and evil, but also a lot of other things. And we've talked about this before, I think, on this podcast. There's actually studies out there right now that they're saying that the rise of anxiety today in teenagers is directly correlated with technology and smartphones and the amount of social media time that they're doing.
Absolutely.
And if you use an iPhone, I'm sure Androids have this too because they copy everything iPhone does. But iPhone, one of the great things is restrictions. The
Yes,
amount of things you
right.
can put on your phone, like time limits.
Mhm.
And if you are someone who says, I need to be more disciplined, what you should do is get your iPhone, put all the limitations in, and hand someone else that device and let them put the password in and not let you have it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
Tori and I both have that on each other's. It's just like, there's no reason. I don't need access to all the terrible things in the world.
right. Well, it's like also time limits.
Yeah,
You put
yeah,
time limits
sure.
on like social media. We had I think it was pre-kid. I won't say it that way. We had pre-kid. Like I had like where 30 minutes a day would kick me off of social media.
Yeah, right.
And then I was like, man, what am I supposed to do with my life now? And that was like whatever, TikTok. I mean,
Right.
we're going back like now it's all TikTok scrolling. But you talk about what you've all done with your kids and the phone use or lack thereof, actually.
Yeah, we just decided it wasn't worth it. We even some of the restrictions that you put on phones and on different devices, kids are so smart. They know so much more than we do, and they can get around those things.
Yeah.
So we decided we're just not going to do it. And so we are not doing phones for our kids. One thing we did do that is amazing is Apple Watches, and it's $10 a month. Right, added onto our plan
Awesome.
per Apple Watch. No, it's amazing, and then they
And
can
the cost of the watch too, yeah.
right. You have to get the watch too, but we got a deal. It was like buy one get one free or something
yeah,
crazy. And so we gave those to our kids so we can feel okay because I mean there are no payphones anymore, right? So we feel good about them going places. We can text them, make sure that they're safe. They can text us. They can call us.
So the $10 a month is basically your phone plan. So it's
Yeah.
connected to phone service. So you
Right.
can,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
and it's cellular, so they don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi. They can do it anywhere.
And a GPS in it. You can
Yeah.
see where they're at. And
Right.
they've walked to the park and found their way back because they got lost. Remember that one
Right.
time?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that comes from us being in youth ministry for so long and just
for
seeing
sure.
not just cell phone, but computers and
Oh, yeah.
just, I mean, it's, we have left kids out alone without helping them, maintain some level of boundaries with this stuff.
Well, it's insane because, I think back to like seeing the stages of development of the phone throughout my teenage years in high school and college, like what I had. And like, I would honestly love to go back to my little Nokia flip phone.
Right, yeah.
Just because of being disconnected, but also we're giving kids literally a powerful device that has access to anything, everything, anyone, and everyone.
Mhm.
And that terrifies me.
Yeah.
The thing I saw one time, I was at a doctor's office waiting, and I look over and the mom is on her phone, normal. She's got 2 kids, but both kids, who were probably 6 and 8, had phones.
Mhm.
Now, sure, I'll say that they were her old iPhones that she probably just downgraded, but still, I'm like, what? Like
Yeah.
you have a device that now, yes, whenever we're at a dinner time and Sadie's going nuts, yeah, I'll slip my phone over and let her watch something on
Right.
TV. But I'm not giving her a phone. She's 4 years old. I'm not going
Right.
to give her a phone
Yeah.
now. That idea freaks me out. But I do know there's kids in elementary school who
Absolutely,
have phones already.
yeah.
Mhm.
And we're not here to shame parents, but we are saying,
I am here to shame you.
but we are saying you have to be extremely careful
Yeah,
because who
it's
now
dangerous.
has access to you?
Right.
You guys get the spam calls of one of the people talking about your extended car insurance or extended warranty, but it's also other freaks calling you.
Right?
Sorry,
Yeah.
freaks. That's a strong word. God loves the freaks too. But anyway, it freaks me out just thinking about it. And then I start thinking about, and this actually gives me anxiety sometimes, is my child's 4, and I see what we have the capacity to do now with our devices. And
Right.
you think about, we say she can't have one until she's 18. When she's 18, I'm like 14 years from now, they're being like iPhone 30. Like, what in the
Right.
world is that going to be able to do?
It's going to be in your head.
It's going to be in your head.
So the good thing through this, I've been talking to a lot of parents. I talk to a lot of parents when they see that our kids have Apple Watches and we tell them why. And I have seen a big pushback against giving young kids phones.
Yeah.
And I think the tide might be starting to turn.
I think people are paying attention to some of the studies. I do
Yeah.
think, again, I think a lot of studies have been increased with the pandemic, especially the amount of time they were put in front of a screen. Because even for school, like I know your kids have done that before. Like putting your kid in front of a screen for school all day too is taking a toll.
Yeah,
Right.
It is a tool, but it's also can be quickly a hindrance to their development, to their social and emotional development. You're going to say something too.
I was thinking we were talking about these advancements. I'm sure when we think about it, like whatever, with 1950s or something, where the launched the rocket into space. Our phone is probably our phone is probably more powerful than that TV, right? Yeah, or not TV, that computer that launched it. And to think of it in that way, and it's not just phones. I've seen kids get in trouble on their 2DS Game Boy that's 7 generations behind, or a Switch or Xbox, PlayStation, all these different things.
On the Nintendo Switch, you can get into, what is it, YouTube or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like just get in, and I never in a million years would have thought of that. Right. Yeah. But you constantly have to be researching this stuff.
I had a PlayStation 3 and I'm like, has internet on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah, right.
And that's what, again, I know you said this too, and my experience is the same way, because it's coming from youth ministry days where I saw kids emotionally not developing, which then also spiritually, and then, they're relationally not healthy. Their relational trauma with families, and a lot of it is because of the amount of time or the lack of boundaries that they're putting on them. And boundaries are an amazing thing. I mean, we talk about scripturally, God gave us boundaries and how to thrive and how not to jump into off the deep end.
And I don't like boundaries. And your kid, if you're a parent, your kids aren't going to like boundaries. That totally makes sense. That's how it's supposed to be.
One thing we also have done that some people might say that's too far, and that's fine. But we wanted to be together as a family when we watched TV and stuff. So we don't let the kids have TVs in the rooms, So it's maybe not the funnest thing, because the only place that Noah has access to YouTube is on our giant 70-inch TV. And so that's where he sits and watches all of his how-to YouTube videos. But we're there in the room with them, and we're sharing it. We're talking about it.
It goes back to the one of being present together.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with, like, one of the things that my family is practicing, and we're trying, Kate and I both, I'll still confess, is trying to get better at. So we always do mealtime at our dining room table. That's a non-negotiable. That's where we're going to do mealtime, and we do not bring a device ourselves into it.
Yeah.
We want to just focus, be present, and then trying to get better at, even just in marriage, trying to keep devices out between, it's because Katie's always like, who are you bringing into our marriage? I mean, that's a strong way of putting it, but if it's
Phil.
It's usually Phil.
Stop texting.
It's 11:30 at night. Why are you texting me? So the last thing then is appreciate what you have been given in this time and in this moment, and use it for the glory of God. And the reason I say that is, if you think back to the Apostle Paul, if you know anything about Paul, he said he was a Pharisee of Pharisees, was a Jew of Jews. He was also a Roman citizen. He utilized everything, all these technological advancements for the ministry that he was called to do. He was able to get to places nobody else was able to get to because of his status, because of what was available to him as a Roman citizen, and he did it all for the glory of God. And he said he wants to be all things to all people. Now, that still had boundaries.
Yeah.
Paul did not go out. Just side note, there is literally a sect of Christian faith, which I don't really think they are Christian, but let's just say this, who literally says murder and sexual immorality are acceptable in the case of conversion.
Yeah.
It's like flirt to convert on a whole new level, right. Like Paul wasn't going around doing that. He still had boundaries and limitations that he still played. Like he was not going to go do certain things, right? But so in the same way, we have all these available tools at our disposal, like computers, phones. You remember the days of like people debating whether or not we should put a projector in church.
Right, yeah.
But look how far, remember overhead projectors in church.
Yeah.
Right? And now we have projectors that put enough worship lyrics so people are not going to worship along and sing with our worship team. Or even think about the fact that people say, well, you should bring your Bible, don't bring your iPad. Okay, I get the argument because I love bringing my Bible too. But the Bible is now available and accessible in the iPad on the YouVersion app, and that YouVersion app now has thousands of languages, thousands of translations, and we're honestly right now, this is really cool. We're going to talk about this more next month at CBC. We are like within the 15-year window of biblical translations being available in every known language today. Wow. That's the pace that we are on,
right? Because
someone has utilized the advancements of technology and resources to do this.
I was telling you earlier in Indonesia, this was more in a smaller town, but they had a place where you could go in this courtyard of the church where they were able to produce internet so that you could get on and listen to sermons. If you're right there at the church, and they could use their phones to be able to do it. There are amazing things that we can do online church service. We have people that are shut-ins or taking care of someone that is and aren't able to come and be present in the church, but we can see them. They can talk to each other online and connect. And we have people many times, their first experience with Clarksburg Baptist Church is because they joined us online, watched to make sure that we weren't super weird. Yeah, right. Yeah. Or podcast or something like that. But yeah, it's like everything, sugar is fine in, the right measurements, but you have to have boundaries over it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I told Phil this earlier because I was reading him where as you eat more gummies. There's a thing I saw the other day of a Middle Eastern country, and there's a thing called the 1040 window, and it's a geographical location where it's 99% non-Christian. And so it's one of the most difficult places for Christianity to grow and flourish. But one specific country in the Middle East now has, and we're going old school here, radio broadcasting, and their radio is broadcasting sermons, just the reading of the Bible, podcasts in the language of the people, and people are responding to it. And they would never have access to the church, never have access to faith, except through these radio airwaves. Or you go back even to the Elliots, who went into Ecuador by flying a plane over an unreached people group. Yeah. They were using the resources and availability of the technology of their time to interact and engage with people. So I think what we need to understand is understand the culture and time in which you live. Be present in that culture, not so much so that you get hindered by it, but so much you can still engage with it and talk with it and deal with it. And then be present with people, set healthy boundaries with your screen time, even with your friends and your social time, and do all these things for the glory of God and leverage what you've been given for Him and for the sake of other people, because other people need to know that Jesus loves them and that He had died for them. And we can have the ability to do that now. For example, we've been on a mission for almost 2,000 years to make the gospel go to all nations. And then if you realize yet, we're still here, which means that it hasn't reached all nations yet. And we have the ability to do that now. You think about Paul, it took weeks, years to get from one community to another. And now we can use a plane, thanks to the Wright brothers. And we can think about the steam engines, like all the things that we now can do. We can get across the world like that, just in travel, but also I can download this video and send it to somebody in a matter of 30 seconds to say, hey, check out this Weird Faith podcast. Yeah, we're talking about some strange things from time to time, but it's actually just allowing you the opportunity to share Jesus with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, I think you probably gathered from this, we don't have this all figured out.
Nope.
We are constantly changing things. We're deleting Facebook as an app or Instagram, and then, figure out we got to have it again in order to post a video, and then we delete it again, and putting do not disturb on our phone, especially when we're especially when we're at home. I figured out recently that I can schedule emails instead of sending emails in the middle of the night when my mind is going, so that Scott doesn't see them or Josh doesn't see them.
Going.
Yeah. So, and also with our kids too, there's been times where it's like, oh no, I didn't realize this was a place that was, something that was unsecure, or, a way that we can be better. And I don't know if you can be a parent in this day and age and not think you aren't letting your kids watch too much TV or too much YouTube or things like that. It's a constant struggle, but we do know this, and Tori and I have decided we're going to try our best and we're going to do everything that we can. And speaking of that, we're going to talk about this at some point too. Pastor Josh, if you're here in Clarksburg or Harrison County, Pastor Josh is going to be putting together a parent tech night on November 12th. That's coming up here. And so just some ways to help you figure out as a parent, and also not just for our kids, but for us too, how to better secure our phones and to deal with healthy relationships with technology. We're not Luddites. We do see the value in it. It is so great to be able to, when our 13-year-old son is at home, to be able to call him and him have a watch and say, yeah, I'm okay.
Noah, we still haven't forgotten about you. They're going to call you back in a minute.
We'll be home soon. But
Chloe told him where we were.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Chloe.
Good job. But, we don't have this all figured out. And this is a constant source of us adjusting and readjusting and reading books on how to better be present and to rest and all that kind of stuff. So we never want to be people that, and I know we all feel this way, that make other people feel guilty about things. Hey, start where you are today. Realize that I can do better and get 1% better between now and tomorrow,
Yeah. So 4 things again. Be authentically who God's called you to be. Be present. Set healthy boundaries and limitations and appreciate what you've been given and use it for the glory of God. And as promised, real quick, we're going to play a quick game.
All right,
as we
let's do
close. It is called Ancient Artifacts.
Ooh,
The instructions.
that is a VHS.
In this game, you will come across items from ancient history, the 70s, 80s, 90s, that's the 1900s.
Getting old.
You must tell me what these are. I'm going to do one in order, and you have to tell me what it is. And if you're watching online, tell us in the comments what you think it is, and if one of us gets it wrong. So, Tori, you get to go first. What is this item?
That's an answering machine, right?
That is an answering machine.
Yeah!
You know what an answering machine is? This is your old school voicemail.
I almost said Atari.
I thought it was an
It looks
Atari.
like
It looked like an Atari.
Yeah.
So some of these are obvious,
Mhm.
but some of them do kind of make it like it's something different.
I have a few old radios in my office, and I was thinking today because I looked at one, and it's covered in leather, and it's like the most luxurious little radio in the world. And that paneling on there, it's just they had some style.
Did you see the wooden swimsuits?
Oh,
Oh yeah, look that up. Like there was some swimsuits made of wood.
some
It
splinters.
kind of remind me of like,
Yeah, right.
the paneling. All right, Phil, kind of an easy one, but here you go.
Ooh, that is a
Ooh.
record or a vinyl. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's a
sure
vinyl
what
record.
size it is.
It doesn't
78.
say. Yeah, so the cool thing is that these are back, right?
Yeah,
I know
I've
you just
got
got
some.
Phil the Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
soundtrack
Yeah.
on it. Thank you, because I get to listen to it too when he's
Yeah.
working. And it's like the best soundtrack.
Here's a cool thing, and I think I've shown it to you. We have record players from our church, which was established in 1848. Obviously, this was in the
You have a record player from 1848?
No.
Oh. Sorry, I got excited.
No, but it is old. I think it's from the 50s or something like that in my office. That was for the church, and I think they would, play songs for the kids or something like
that's
that.
awesome.
It's pretty neat.
All right, let's keep going.
Ooh, that's a CD case, right?
The old-fashioned CD
Yeah.
wallet.
They tricked you with that little filter on
It
it.
did,
Made it look
yeah.
like it was so
So
old.
back in the day, we went from records, then we got CDs a little bit later, and we had a CD case that you kept in your car. What is your go-to CD that would still be in there today?
Oh my goodness, I still have mine is totally full.
Katie still has hers still full, and there's
You know-
NSYNC on there.
So yeah, so there was a Christian group
Oh, you got
that
holier
was
than Katie.
just like it was just like NSYNC. Like
98
they
Degrees?
sounded no, it was called Jump 5.
Jump.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever heard
I
of
remember
Jump
seeing
5?
that.
No.
And I mean, it sounds completely
awesome.
Instinct, Backstreet Boys, but it was
So
Christian.
when I was
And
young,
I had a convertible, and I would
Yeah,
pump that.
right.
Oh my goodness!
when I was young, they told me to invest in CDs, and I really messed up. I bought things I didn't even
You
like.
went to FYE and bought lots of CDs. All right, let's see. What is this?
I'm gonna break my CDs out.
Man, that's tough. It's hard to see. Man, I'm gonna say I don't know.
That is a Betamax tape.
Oh, I've heard of it, but I've never seen one in person.
Yeah, I'd never seen one in person either. So, yeah. I think
Okay.
Tori might get this one just because of her Andy Griffith days.
Is that a radio? Oh, is it a CD? No, it's not a CD
Ham.
radio, right?
Is it ham?
It's a specific kind of radio.
Oh, transistor radio? No, those are little. I don't know.
I gave it away with what I said you were watching.
Andy Griffith, a TV radio? What?
Police scanner.
Oh, police scanner.
Okay, that makes sense.
Some people used to go to sleep listening to the crime reports in their city.
Yeah.
Right?
Some people still do.
I know I have family who does.
They have apps that can do that.
A
where
lot
you
of
just
people
listen
do
on
here
the
in
apps, yeah.
Clarksburg.
All right, Phil.
What in the world?
It's not a fidget spinner.
It does look like a fidget spinner.
Again, I don't know.
It is a record spider
Yes.
adapter, which took it from a 45 to
Yep.
a 33.
You put it. I've never seen
cool.
one that looked that fancy.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Next one.
Ooh, I've seen
Ooh,
those.
That's a sewing thing.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. It is a needle threader.
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to help guide thread into the eye of a needle.
Yeah.
We've already talked about the next one, so this one should be pretty simple.
Oh yeah, that's an
Oh,
overhead.
yeah.
projector.
Overhead projector. Did any one of your all churches have overhead projectors in worship?
Yeah.
You know, like
No, mine
the
didn't.
first church tech guy
Yeah.
was the one putting slides in.
That was the cool part is you get to see it like slide over and take it off or drop them on
There's somebody,
all over
there's
the floor.
There's a pastor somewhere who talks about a guy who did that, but the guy who was the tech guy only had 3 fingers. And so every single time you saw his hand go, you just on the screen, you just saw.
Oh, they were great for shadow puppets.
Fantastic. Next one.
Oh, those are Pogs.
Oh.
I'm impressed. That's the
Yeah.
one I had no idea what they were, and then every time I've ever played this, someone always gets it.
Yeah, it was. I was probably pretty young, maybe 11 or 12 when those were pretty
Okay.
big.
Yeah, my brother.
I don't even
collected
really
those.
get them. Like you would stack them and then launch them at the
I have
stack
no
or
idea.
something.
I don't remember. I
You
think
could collect them.
Yeah, I think you collected different
But there's a
ones.
game you could play with them.
All
I never
right.
heard of them milk caps though.
Substitute teacher probably was going to get this one, but
Oh, a pencil sharpener.
the old school pencil sharpener. The one thing that whenever you wanted to get out of class, you just got up and walked over to the corner and just started sharpening your pencil.
This big.
And again, this one might be a little simple, especially for the Jeep owner.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's a window
The old window crank.
crank.
There
I like
was
those
a bee
better.
coming. You couldn't get it up very fast.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. That is our game. That was fun.
Yeah.
It's fun to play that with you. Honestly, go back and watch this with your kids because they'll have no idea what 95% of those things are.
Yeah.
Watching kids at Cowan try to figure out what an answer machine was hysterical. They wouldn't even know what an Atari was either.
Yeah,
So-
that
Yeah,
Betamax
right.
one was hard too.
yeah, the Betamax
Yeah, I
one.
didn't know that one.
I only know it because I had this game on my computer, but that's our time today. It's been
Yeah.
fun. Again, going back to what Phil said, we weren't talking about technology. Just saying, is just encouraging you all as we encourage ourselves, and that all of us can do a better job, get 1% better every single day. How to be better. Examples of what it means to follow Jesus, but also how to follow Jesus in this digital world that we live in. One thing to share is that one person once said that we are not in a tech savvy world; we're in a tech dependent world.
Yeah.
You can't operate in this world almost anymore without having some kind of technology, and that's okay.
Yep.
You don't have to jump off the deep end and go completely off the grid. You can still follow Jesus faithfully. Just do it using some of the things we talked about today.
Yeah. It's all about boundaries and having a healthy relationship with things.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yep. Balance. So comment down below if you have a like obsolete technology that is your favorite thing from a long time ago. I'd love to look at that kind of stuff. Every once in a while we'll be in a antique store and we'll be like, man, what is this thing? And have to try and Google it and look it up.
Send them to us.
Yeah.
Like, test us. See if we
Yeah.
know what these things are.
We'd love to put them up on the Weird Faith thing, especially if you send them, through email or something like that. And that way we can post them and test other people about what those things are. Make sure you comment below. We're looking for some shirts and let us know. Don't do that. I was going to say, let us know if you want Josh or Tori to be on there.
Josh would be really
that would
offended.
break both of their hearts.
No, that would break Josh's
Yeah.
heart.
There, he's
Josh,
back.
you are always with us.
Yeah.
Even when you're not, even when you're shooting some silly string, we don't like you. Just kidding.
All right. Hey, we love you guys so much. And remember, let's get weird because normal isn't working.